Hey Goddess, welcome to the Hey Goddess podcast, which with Angie K and myself, Wendy Lou. Let me introduce us first before we dive right into this juicy topic for today. Angie K is a goddess CEO guiding spiritual entrepreneurs to grow their gifts and receive soul-aligned wealth. She is the author of two books, Goddess CEO and Creation Codes Rise of the Goddess. Both are on Amazon. Goddess CEO released on June 3rd and is available on Amazon, like I just said. It is a guide to owning a spiritual business and creating financial freedom like a goddess. She is also a divine feminine embodiment and law of attraction coach and a master sound activator. To see more of Angie K, check out her website at angiek.world, and we will link that below. I am Wendy Lou. I am a writer, a published author, a professional editor and copywriter, Reiki Master, all around energy magician, and a homeschool mom. I have also just finished the first draft of my nonfiction book called Parenting Through Ascension, which is the telling of my own spiritual transformation and how it affected my parenting. So to see more of what I do, my website is wendy-lou.com. We will also link that. So today, I'm super excited about this one. I know we say that every time, right? But
Yeah,
we love our podcast and we love us and we love our topics and we love the goddess world. And
we do.
so
And our
here,
listeners, we love you.
and we love you guys and we love Ascension. We're just loving this whole thing, this whole process. And so, yeah, tell us what we're talking about today, Angie. I'm excited.
We have traditionally every year, for as long as I can remember, made a Lionsgate video. We have been inconsistent in other ways with other videos, but we have always made a Lionsgate video.
It's our
And so
consistency.
when we
We
sat
have.
down today and realized right now as we're recording this, it's the Lionsgate is coming up quickly within a month, and we realized that it was time to record our Lionsgate video historically and this year. So here we
At
go.
least
We are
5 years, I swear, we've been doing the
yes,
Lionsgate one. Yeah,
we
just
have
for
not missed a
funsies.
Lionsgate. So we are excited to bring you this update around the Lionsgate. It's always such a profound energy. Some of the most amazing shifts for me that I remember have happened in August related to like before or after the Lionsgate. Huge
Hmm.
stuff has
Yep,
happened to
same.
me around the Lionsgate. So I'm always really open, and it definitely ushers in new energy at the same time. It's very eclipsy, if that's a word. It is now. I made it up
Yes, we just did it.
because it feels like things, big things can happen that can just sort of drop out, and then something new is just on the other side of that door, of course, because that's always how it works. But something that isn't in alignment can just kind of boom at that
Right.
moment
It's
and
like
gone.
massive
Poof.
and abrupt transformation is what I always
Yeah.
feel. And this one is no different. In fact, when we were first tuning in, the image that I got was the MGM lion, like at the beginning of the movies, and he was roaring and he just never stopped roaring like the whole time. So it was like heralding in new messages, new information, announcements, just new, but like for a lot of people, it's going to bring, like you said, monumental, like all of a sudden something just won't be there anymore. And so, and always, when something leaves, it was an obstacle. It was in your way, right? And so now you can move forward in big ways. So yeah, this is going to be a big one. And I feel like there hasn't been an astrological event in 2025 yet that we haven't said that about. It's like every single thing has been, well, this is the biggest one in like 70 some years or 200 years. Everything has just been bigger for 2025. And so, which makes sense because it's a 9 year, we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up. We're already feeling this energy starting to amp up. And so we really wanted to get this information out there while it's coming through.
And for those of you who are listening and you're not quite sure what the Lionsgate is, I feel like we should say for a second. So the
Yes.
Lionsgate happens on 8/8, so it's August 8th. So Lionsgate is when the sun and the star Sirius and the earth align. And so it opens up this huge portal for manifestation, for things to shift and rearrange, for higher timelines to open up. It's basically a quantum leap that we're
Mm-hmm.
guaranteed every year on August 8th. So
Mm-hmm.
start, and honestly, the window for it is 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. So that's why I was saying like profound things have happened for me. Like I remember right after Lionsgate 2017 was that, and I've talked about it before, but I'm just going to mention it again, that huge solar eclipse in the United States. And people were wearing the eclipse
The
glasses and everything. You get
glasses,
them from
yeah.
the radio station. And I talk about it in my first book where I was outside watching the eclipse at a party that I put together for my coworkers because I love astrology and was super excited, right? I go back to my desk and I'm sitting there looking at all the things on my desk going, I don't even know what this stuff is. Like, what is this phone? Like, what do I even do for this company? And 2 hours before, I was fully in the identity of the person that worked at that company.
Mm-hmm.
That's how profound I feel like the Lionsgate, and then that was mixed with, another astrological event, which was the eclipse. But
Right.
it's
That was
still,
a
I feel
huge
like the
one. Yeah.
Lionsgate was preparing me, and then it opened up this huge, I don't know that it would have been that strong without the Lionsgate being 2 weeks, happening 2 weeks before this whole thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I remember that eclipse as well because I invited a bunch of friends over to my house because we lived out in the country. We had like an acre in the foothills in Colorado, and so we had all this big sky, right, to watch it. And I just remember it was right around that time. So interestingly, right, if we look at 2 weeks after, that takes us to the 22nd, which, like you said, was right at the time of that eclipse. Also, August 22nd was also my anniversary in my marriage. And so that date has always kind of crept up as kind of a date of completion for me, a date of, and that was a beautiful beginning date, right? It was the beginning of my marriage, and it was, and we had a good run. I always say we were great in 3D, and we just both wanted more. And so for me, it has been definitely things dropping, right? And I remember that day too. Realizing that I knew that I was going to have to make a decision, right? And so it was kind of a big shift for me in that situation. And gosh, when was it 20? When was it? What year was it again?
2017. Yeah.
2017. That's right.
So
So
eight
yeah,
years ago.
that was right about the time where I was like, yeah, I'm like not fulfilled, right? Like I wasn't fulfilled in my life. And so it started a whole, a huge path for me where I really started to look within. And the more I looked within, the more I realized I didn't like what I had created without, right? And so, it's about knowing what you actually want to create in your life. And so that could be the energy coming in. I did want to say that you may not experience something as profound as like Angie or I, but you might, right? You might literally walk into your job and go, I don't want to be here anymore. Or you might walk, look at a partner and go, mm, I've kind of been feeling this, but no, yeah, or yes, let's take a whole new path, right? It could be one thing I wanted to say that I saw for this Lionsgate is I feel like we're going to be given more or become aware of how much power we have to write our own story. Like we are a species of labeling and trying to figure things out and wrapping things up with neat little bows and putting things in boxes, right? And I feel like those boxes are gone now. And this Lionsgate is really going to show us that. It's going to be like, hey, guess what? You don't have to, just because somebody else went through something similar and this is how it happened for them, you don't have to do it exactly the way they did it. You can definitely, I'm not saying don't take advice from people that you trust and you love, but go in first. Like really, it's going to be really giving us this opportunity to tune into our intuition and our own and step into our own next higher selves in a bigger way and really tune into that. Okay, what do I really want to create here? And realizing that it doesn't have to look like anybody else's journey. In fact, it shouldn't. It doesn't. It shouldn't, align so perfectly with somebody else's that you're basically living the same life that they're living, right? Everybody should be creating their own experience. So yeah, write your own story. That's what's coming. Just keep doing the work. Just keep tuning into your own heart space and follow your heart every day. I actually did a TikTok the other day that was super short. I was like, this is how you heal. You follow your heart every day, and the universe will show you what's in the way. I mean, that's in simplest terms. And then you look at that and you go, okay, do I need that? Or can I Can I keep following my heart? Can I let go of that and keep following my heart? That's how we create our own stories. And so I think coming into 2026, and you and I have been seeing this for a couple of years now, that, oh my gosh, the world is going to be markedly different in a good way. Like 2026 is really going to, it's a 10 year, which is 10 and 1, which is, Kali energy, which is, yeah, burning down, right? Burning down the old, but we've been doing that last year and this year. We've already started like kind of, knocking things down, knocking old structures down, because that 10 energy is also going to be the rebuilding energy, the new. So we're already starting to feel it.
It was interesting because what I was having this image of was at the beginning of our conversation before we hit record, when you were seeing the MGM lion. And I said, my response to that was, oh, news is coming in. News with an S, like you're going to be receiving some sort of news, like huge, like the
Announcements.
lion
Yep.
is shouting a huge announcement. And then what was funny was I had my homemade deck next to me and I cut the deck in half and it was new is coming in without the S. So not news,
Mhm.
new.
But
So kind of both, right?
yeah, but the
The
exact way
exact
you said it
words I
even. Yep.
said. That was
Yep.
wild. So yeah, I do. I think with this Lionsgate, there could be even shocking news coming in.
That's what I'm getting. Yeah.
Yeah, almost like a light, like I see like a lightning bolt. So it could be like, okay, here's the news, but it frees you. So it's like at the same time as it's shocking and it's like, oh my gosh, that I did not see this coming. This was the sideways angle. It's like you're free.
I love that. Yeah, I
You're
feel that.
you're totally free of, what
Ooh,
of these heavy cycles that, the Lightworker Collective has really gone through some really intense heavy, not heavy as much, but just I feel like clearing around money and abundance and lack and scarcity, right? Like these things have happened in the last,
right.
right? Like I would say 3 to 5 years, but really concentrated on the last 3 years for the Lightworker Collective. This has been really big. And so this is like, and you and I have been seeing for 2025, even from the beginning, every time we talk about it, that there is a breakthrough now, finally, in all this clearing we've done for this lack and scarcity, in
Hmm.
clearing it, for what we agreed to, our piece of it, right? We also
Absolutely.
had to experience it. And that's how it works, right? We were experiencing some level of the illusion of lack and scarcity. Yet
Hmm.
that was healing and clearing it for so many people that we're connected to, right? And that's how it works.
Absolutely.
In the process of that, you're clearing it for your ancestral lineage, for your descendants, right? So your kids don't carry those energies forward. We're clearing it from the DNA level. We're creating new structures and even got a CEO. Like when I put her out, I mean, that's the divine feminine path to wealth. This is like each of us as light workers, whether you're called to a stage or not, we have some sort of important piece of information or code that we're bringing through, right? And so, whatever it is, so for me, that's what it is, that I had to go through things in my life that made me understand the divine feminine path to wealth versus the toxic masculine path to wealth, which is much, much different, right? So,
You
and then
had
I
to
had to bring
experience
that
that
through. Yeah,
masculine.
I had to
Yeah.
experience that other path, right? So, the contrast of it to make me say, there has to be a better way. And then, I was equipped and prepared, no, before this life to bring
Hmm.
through. I wanted to have those experiences so that I was ready to bring through these codes, right? And
Hmm.
so, as light workers, and you can tune into this for yourself, anyone that's listening, what is it that you are bringing through? Because so many light workers now that have been doing the work, have been consciously working this path, are now being called to our legacy work. And like you, Wendy, like you wrote your Parenting Through Ascension book because that was a lens that was highlighted for you as
Hmm.
something you were meant to bring through these are like the new blueprints for parenting, awakened parenting, right? For how do you
Right.
parent, once you awaken into the 5D experience, right? Like it's completely
Exactly.
different than
Yep.
3D
It
parent
has to.
authoritative,
Right.
parenting or whatever.
Yep.
The parenting styles completely shift and wealth shifts and all the things shift, right? So there's a different way, a different blueprint for us to live on through, I guess through would be
Hmm.
the right word, not
For
on,
us
but
to express, maybe. Yeah. For
yes,
us
a
to express.
blueprint
Yeah.
for us to express these different huge aspects of being human, right? So that stuff is what I'm getting is falling away. And then what's coming through is for a lot of light workers is these legacy pieces, these pieces
Hmm.
that kind of are the flavor of your particular awakening or light worker journey. And then through the contrast of that, you see what the new blueprint is very clearly. And then you're sharing it in whatever way. And sometimes that doesn't seem like a very public way, and that's fine. It's different for everyone.
Right.
But just through your words and actions and your energy, just through your aura, you're transmitting whatever this new blueprint is. And you're living it, right? And once you're living it, you're transmitting it, and other people are
Mhm.
catching on. And then the new blueprints are being anchored for all of these things that are possible now in every different aspect of human life. It's going to be completely
Right.
different. So that's what I'm getting is there's going to be an uptick. All that to say, there's an uptick in light workers that are recognizing their legacy pieces and
Hmm.
wanting to get them out. So if you are someone out there that wants to get your legacy pieces out and it includes writing, please reach out to Wendy. And she's a book editor who edited Goddess CEO for me. So just keep that in the back of your mind, light workers, if you have a writing piece to get out there. I just wanted to plug Wendy.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
And it doesn't, like Angie said, it doesn't have to be a book. It doesn't have to be something that maybe, is sold to the masses. It can be whatever, only you know, right? But it will be something that that'll feel like it's being channeled through you. Like you will not be able to deny it much longer. And it will have to be expressed through you. And it will feed your soul. And so, and I love the term legacy piece. It's like, yes, that's what we are discovering is these legacies that we came here to bring through. But then you're not done after that, right? There's more, there's so much more. That's almost like that just opens the door. That just opens the
Mhm.
door for the next. And that's what this Lionsgate portal is starting to look like, right? It's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be this doorway to really expressing the beginning of the legacy. Everybody wants a piece of the podcast right now.
Yes, they do.
My dog's drinking, my dog's shaking.
I'm getting
But
some
yeah.
cards around love, which is interesting. I just
Oh,
reached into
good.
my homemade deck just for fun as you were talking, and your dog was,
Well, we did see
visiting.
2025 was a big year of divine unions coming together. Perhaps it's more of just finding the person right and then beginning that new path because, as I saw the lion roaring, it's like, right, that's for a lot of people. And I think honestly for the planet, and I know a lot of us are already have a trajectory, but for the whole planet, it's going to be a big shift toward the legacy pieces, toward the doorway, toward even more good stuff. And so it makes sense that if you're on a divine counterpart journey, right, if you have that written into your blueprint, then that's got to start coming together because that's really how we kind of, if you've been on the healing journey for some time, and you feel like you're hitting walls, a lot of times that's when the partner comes in to be the mirror and to help push you to the next level and the next level. And you're pushing each other, right? And then ultimately, for a lot of people, and this isn't for everybody, there's always karmics. Don't come at me. I get it. Like there's all these different definitions, right? But what I'm talking about is that person who is here uh, to come into union with you and have a joint mission here on the planet and whatever that might be, and it's not always romantic either. It can be a bestie, it can be so whatever you want to call that. I know we have different terms for it, but I love that we've been seeing that for a while, that 2025 was going to be that year. So
Yeah,
very good. I'll take it. It's all part of
yeah,
the everything's connected. And
definitely.
remember, this whole journey is about divine union within. So doesn't it make
Exactly.
sense that we would call in
Yeah,
that partner to bring that into the world? Yeah.
of course. And then we can express it externally as well. And I feel like, I mean, speaking of besties with a joint mission, I mean, hello, like that's you and
You're
I,
looking at
right?
one.
So you're looking at us. So whoever's listening out there, you might also have a bestie that you have a joint mission with and completely resonate
Mhm.
with that. The cards I was pulling though were more romantically
I love it.
inclined. So it was Destiny. These are my homemade cards, y'all.
Love them.
Destiny Eternal Flame versus,
Oh,
heard so much about the twin flame, and yes, as you
Sure.
say, the karmic twin flame, all of the things.
Whatever term we want to use. Yeah.
Yes, right. And that's why I
Soulmate.
just say divine soul connection in my first book, because there are
Right.
far too many terms and too much has been placed on each of them, I believe. Soulmate, I got. So
Very
a higher
good.
level soulmate coming in, and abundance. So how
Yeah, and I
beautiful
got
is
the
that?
abundance. Yeah, I got infinite
Yeah,
abundance at the beginning
you did.
when we were playing before we often don't hit record soon enough. Like we'll start talking
Yeah.
about what we want to talk about, and then all these gems come out. We're like, we better start recording before
Yeah.
we lose all this information. But oh, and I got passion
Wow.
and pleasure, so that goes along
Oh
with
my
if for those
gosh.
of you who can see, I am showing the
Yes.
card, but it's essentially, enjoying what we have. And the
And I had
people on the
romance in
card,
4 months.
oh,
So
I
passion
love
and
that.
pleasure, romance in 4 months. Yeah. So
Oh, I
that's
love that.
awesome.
That's beautiful. And I did want to go back too quick to, you were talking about the Lightworker Collective clearing all this lack. And one
Hmm.
thing, that I always think about when that comes through too is like, when Yeshua walked the earth, right, he had these disciples who believed in him and they had to walk away from everything and give up that those times are over. We don't have to be the barefoot disciples with no possessions. Now, obviously, you don't want to be a hoarder. You don't, that's healing, right? That needs to take place, but it's not. We're in a different world now. And Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, right? Because it was the package deal, came when they did to plant this seed for us to be able to come through en masse then now and really come together in the divine unions. They were the first. They were that doorway. And so, but we don't have to walk away from every material, from material things, and we're allowed to have dependable cars. We're allowed to have safe homes. We're allowed to have pretty things even. So we're allowed to have nice things. It's a totally different world. It's about accepting the whole human experience. And we have physical bodies for a reason. You're allowed to do these things that bring pleasure to the body as long as it is also, soul feeding. Because I often think that they probably worried about when they were going to eat next, right? Like we don't
Yeah.
have to live like that
Well, and I
to be
think
light
when,
workers.
if you look back at some of the religion, like actually all of the world's religions, not all of them, I couldn't say for sure, but some of the main ones, a lot of the religious figures and like, in the hierarchy of religion took vows of poverty. And so
Hmm.
then that stuff, right, when you've done that in other lifetimes, sometimes those things come with you into your current lifetime. So maybe you're not a monk right now, or maybe you're, um, not even like really like have never been religious, maybe just spiritual, but you could have taken vows of poverty in other religions in other lifetimes, and then that carries forward. It can even be in the bloodline, some of these things. So it
Hmm.
is important. I know I've done a lot of work around it, and so have you, Wendy, around
Hmm.
releasing any of those vows of poverty, things like that, that had to do with doing your light work in all different ways, whether it was religious or spiritual or
Right.
witchy, whatever it was, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's amazing how much of that exists. And actually the vows of poverty, I believe, still exist within certain
Yep. Catholic,
religious contracts. Yeah, if you take on those
right.
contracts. So it's something that you can do. You can speak to your DNA, as Wendy and I always say, and just
Watch our
ask
other
to
episodes.
release. Yeah, just ask to release any and all vows of poverty that you made in this or any lifetime across the multiverses. So,
Mm. Yep.
and
I
I
love
do
that.
more work like that in the Goddess Society, if that is the type of work that you're
Which is,
interested, the quantum level energy work we do in the Goddess
yes.
Society.
Oh gosh, when women come together, we heal for each other like it's next level. It's next
Yeah.
level. There are things happening within an hour of getting out of a meeting, right? There are people
Hmm.
in the chat, talking, oh my gosh, this just happened. And that when this divine feminine energy comes together in a beautiful way, in a cohesive way, and we're in a space of support and lifting each other up, and there's no competition and there's no judgment. This is what we were talking about before. I'm like, the time for the lone wolf, ladies, is over. We have to be coming together with other women to really truly raise it. It's like they're showing me now, it's like I see the crystalline grid, right? It's like this is how we turn it on. This is how we get it going. This is even how we if you're on the divine soul complement, whatever you want to call it, path, this is how we call those partners in, is by communing with other divine feminines and really truly letting that come through. Like we talk about, we used to talk about like get in touch with that raw, that witch dancing naked around the fire in the forest. But it's really so much deeper than that. It's like we were talking about in several of our videos, we talk about this. Everything starts with the feminine, everything. And so everything begins with the feminine energy. It is desire. It is literally, human babies begin as female. It's like everything starts feminine. And then where it goes from there is all about the experience, right? This Lionsgate is bringing in so much of, I feel like, for Angie and I, at least, and maybe for a lot of you, the things that we have been seeing coming and waiting for are finally going to be here and to be in in our reality. So, and it has to do with a lot of women, especially, but not just women, divine feminine, whatever the vessel looks like, but divine masculine as well. So the men as well are really starting to come in, those who are at the forefront of the masculine healing journey. We've got men just coming into it in a big way right now, but it's going to really open up these legacies, these legacy pieces, these bringing them to you. And I'm going to be using that term now forever. I love it. Not mine, Angie's, the legacy piece. Really, people stepping into their true potential, and really, but women in a huge way. Like we talk about this all the time. If you have a book in you, oh my God, write it. Stop waiting. Stop. What is it? What do we say? Stop holding on to your genius because somebody's
Hmm.
waiting for it.
Yeah.
Don't stop hiding it.
Yeah. And contact Wendy and I. We are a great team. I've been helping a lot of people get their legacy pieces out there. And
Hmm.
then Wendy's been doing a lot of editing for people that are doing the same. So
Yeah, we got the
contact
funnel. We
us
got
if
the
you
funnel
know
going.
you've got your legacy pieces and you need to get them out. We're honestly so ready for this. Like I
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
I've never
it
felt
brings
more
us
ready.
so much joy to help people
Mhm.
to do that. And there was
Absolutely.
something you were saying, wild feminine. Thank you. At
Mm.
the beginning, before we were recording, and we were just kind of like, hey, what do you think is going on with the Lionsgate? I pulled wild feminine, and that completely makes sense. I think that is a huge piece of this portal because that's, like you were saying earlier, that's just that raw creation force energy.
Hmm.
That it needs a container, it needs to be harnessed, right? It needs to go somewhere. Otherwise, it just stagnates, which none of us likes that feeling either, right? We have to have both the balance of our divine masculine and feminine within us. So when we have an uptick in the wild feminine, the raw creation force energy, then of course we have to bring more of our masculine structure online. So we need
Yep.
to do things like join a coaching container or be a part of something that gives us accountability and structure, right? Even that if
Hmm.
that's a bestie or whatever, but something that gives you that place to bring the creation force energy through into, like a physical manifestation of something, right? So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's important. I feel like this is a big thing for the Lionsgate, a huge uptick in creativity because of the raw feminine creation force energy coming through. And
Hmm.
what is going to be created from that? It's going to be different for all of us, right? But it's these legacy pieces. I mean, this is coming through loud and clear, y'all. It's like legacy
Yeah.
pieces, creation force energy, they go together. I'm wondering what it's going to be for you and I, Wendy, because I just put one book out there. You
Hmm.
just sent me your proof copy for your book to read through. So I don't know what's it going to be for us. I'm getting excited. I'm
It's
excited to see what it is
I
for all
think
of
a
us.
lot is going to happen between now and the end of the year, and
Hmm.
2026 is just going to look so different in a good way. For the Lightworker Collective, I don't want to say that the rest are going to, that it's going to suck for the rest, but there's a journey there, right? That we've
Hmm.
already been through, and the fact that we have already cleared away a lot of the muck collectively, that the whole point of it was to make it as easy as possible without taking away their own journey, right? We were tasked with rewriting a lot of DNA in a way, and awakening DNA so that when a large part of humanity got to this portal, got to this point, that it wouldn't be so hard that they couldn't do it, right? We've experienced so many different things. Coming here and being human at first can feel like a small thing. And so the first part of our journey, both of us went through this, right? We've been so aligned. It's like we were trying to figure out how to get out, how to, come back in, but let's go up to 9D and let's go up to 11D and experience. And we were constantly bringing stuff down. But then I don't remember when it was, not even a year ago, was it, where we both had an experience where we're like, oh my God, the whole point is to bring that into the human experience and to really appreciate being human, not to try to be anything else. But we've worked hard to kind of hold the line. Like I always say, I see us holding hands, that network right around the planet. Well, we are the network of light workers, holding hands energetically around the planet and essentially kind of acting as a filter and taking the brunt of the energy and filtering out what is not necessary for them to process, right? For the rest of
Yeah.
humanity to process.
I just want to add for those who are listening, when we're talking about doing this for others, when we say them, it's like you come in and you might feel like the oddball in your family line. Well, that's on purpose. So when you
Mhm.
do this work and you do this clearing work and you do your healing work, you're clearing it for your whole ancestral line. And then, of course, that ripples out. And so when each of us comes in, we have it, and so many of you listening probably have experienced this. You have to go far and wide to find your true soul family.
Mhm.
And you've been clearing for your own ancestral lineage for a very long time since your birth, right? And so when we're all holding hands across the planet, that what I imagine is your true soul family, like Wendy for me is soul family and some other people who also retain the same frequency. We're holding
Mhm.
hands, but clearing for our ancestral lines. And so when we say they, who are we clearing for? We mean our individual bloodline lineages that we came into.
Right.
And then all of that ripples out. So that's why people will say, like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
why am I the black sheep of my family? Like, why am I the only one that feels like this? Or there might be a few, maybe it dispersed throughout your extended family, right? And it's like, why is it
Mhm.
like that? This is why. It's because we have chose and we've done it before and we knew we could handle it. So it takes a
Right.
lot. So kudos to you who are listening, who have had this experience. We get you. It takes a lot to choose to be that. It takes a lot of healing. You're going to go through much more than other people. You signed up for a much bigger mission this time, this go around, right?
Mhm.
So that's why it can feel like, why am I the one going through all of this and no one else? So we get you. And that's why. That's
Absolutely.
what it
Yeah.
means when we say that. Yeah, I just wanted to
Right.
give a
Yeah,
little back.
there was no division intended for sure because we're included in that, right? We come in these lineages, so we're clearing it
Hmm.
for ourselves too.
Yep, for ourselves and the
Absolutely.
whole lineage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like some of us that are like, this is our specialty. I see it. Certain souls come in to really help ascending planets and
I know
will
it's mine.
on
Yeah.
purpose choose really dense lineages on purpose because those are the ones that really need the light. Those are the ones that really need to be expanded. And a lot of times that comes through contrast. And that's why they end up being called the black sheep of the family
Yeah.
because they're very contrasting to the status quo of the moment, which is the current conditioning that the family has been indoctrinated into. And so this person comes in and they're bucking the conditioning. Like one
Hmm.
great example is, and actually because I also have experienced these things on my own, my reaction to it is I'm really easygoing around it, but my daughter, Wendy and I have talked about her on the podcast before. She is very much her just very own person. She's always been like a feral child, I called her. I had to run around after her with a hairbrush. Like she did not brush her hair. She puts six dresses on one hanger if she wants to. Like she makes up her own rules in
Yeah.
this world. So and there's so much more, but
By
she
design. Yeah.
helped me break down a lot of conditioning around what women had to do in this life. And it was really good for me to see, her to say
Yeah.
things like, no, I'm not doing that, just straight out, just different things that we were conditioned to do. And she just is
Right.
not
That we
going
don't
to do
even
that.
think to question
Yes,
sometimes, right? We're like, wait a minute, we can
exactly.
do it. And it's funny because I had a whole chapter in my book about that, like especially around parenting, like, wait, we don't have to do it that way. Like what?
Yeah.
Like there were definitely things that I was conditioned to do that I learned from my mom, that she learned from her mom, that everyone around me was doing. So I thought that's just what you did. And there was no option to do it another way until you have that, all it takes is that glimmer, right? And like you had your daughter to bring that glimmer in. I don't know, I'm not sure what I had. I have all boys and I have all nephews and I have, very few um women in my family actually, aside from sisters and sisters-in-law. But it's definitely, it comes in, all you need is that crack, to be cracked open a little bit, and then you're like, wait a minute. And you have to act on it, because once you act on it, that opens the door to more like, whoa, I don't have to do this either. Like, what the heck? This is what, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful, beautiful
Hmm.
segue right into the point I was making before about this is going to be about writing your own story. We don't have to
Yeah.
follow those old rules anymore. And obviously,
Mm-mm.
we want everybody to live heart-centered and soul-led lives, right? And so it's in that energy, right? I don't say that like do whatever you want, go steal a car. That's not what we're saying, right? We're saying make your own rules. And for a lot of you, I just saw too, for a lot of you, I'm getting that there have been things, and this could be, we were talking about before we got on that I was feeling this kind of darkness, heaviness, but it wasn't darkness, heaviness, and we kind of couldn't really figure out what it was. I feel like this is what's lifting, right? It's like we've had so much doubt. And I think for a lot of people, and maybe for a lot of you listening, it's like maybe you're new on the journey of realizing that you're like the awareness of being a light worker, and you have these things so deep in your heart that you want to act on, but they're covered up in all these rules, right? And all these rules from the old paradigm, the old matrix, the social mores, even. I mean, just once you let them come to the surface, a lot of times you go, well, that was just silly that I believed that I couldn't do it differently, or that I couldn't just say no to doing it that way. And so I
Yeah.
feel like it kind of weighs heavy on us when we can't just express, well, this Lionsgate, there's nothing to keep us from expressing the things that are truly in our hearts, which goes back to the legacy pieces, and it goes back to just writing your own story and doing the things that you really want to do in this life. It's like, don't let other people's beliefs and the old way, like especially our parents' generation, right? Don't let the world they created stand in your way, because we're creating our own. And then our kids are going to, come in and create their own. They already are.
Yeah.
And they are great examples of what you can. My kids definitely have taught me a lot.
It's a huge ripple effect because
Yeah.
someone was just telling me yesterday after I did my master class, she was someone that signed up for a one-on-one call after the master class. And she said, you know what is making me so happy about your work is watching how you can combine modalities with ease and make them seem all related without a problem.
Because
And
they
she
are.
said, I've had such a hard time with that because she was coming from a
Yeah.
more structured modality that had a very specific certification with Dora, things like that, right? And
Okay. Yeah.
she wanted to bring in some of the more energy elements, like free flow things into her practice of what she had been doing. And so she watched me in, I have some very structured elements, very structured trainings I've done, but I also bring in downloads I've received of whole entire programs and methods and modalities that I teach. And so
Right.
I meld all of this together in a way that really works for me. So if I didn't do that, I guess what I'm trying to get at here is if I didn't do that, or if I was scared to do that, then I wouldn't have put it out there and inspired someone else to say, "Oh my gosh, what is my particular recipe?" Wendy and I call it your shake, like
Your milkshake. Yeah.
it's your milkshake. So that's the thing is when we do what we're called to do, the ripple effect and it inspires others. All of a sudden someone says, "Wow, I never knew you could do that way." And then all of a sudden they bring their flavor to it, which is different than
Hmm.
yours, but your idea inspired them. And so it
Right.
evolves us. It pushes us forward when we do that. But we have to have the quote unquote crazy ones, those of us that are willing to like actually go out there and push us forward. Like we're going to push the edge of what's been
Hmm.
done before. We're going to push it. Like, and when I say what's been done before, maybe I don't mean globally. Maybe I mean like in your family lineage, what has edge has been pushed? Like how far has the edge been pushed? And like, can you actually rip off the conditioning and push that edge a little bit further for your
Right.
family lineage? Like no one in my family lineage that I know of had ever walked away from their quote unquote like chosen career, corporate job, or
The
government
stable,
job was big
right?
in
The
my
stable
family,
thing.
the
Yeah.
stable. No one had done that as far as I know. I think I was the first to do something like that, right? And it really wasn't well received. I'm going to tell you
I
that
was going to
right
say they probably thought you'd
now.
lost your mind. I mean,
They
even,
did.
for me too, I left the military
Yeah,
and which is essentially corporate, right? I left it because
right.
we had very similar experiences. I just had to wear a uniform and then embracing this, this journey. It's like my family for a long time just thought that I was, going through the midlife crisis or whatever. And I've come out a totally different person. And
Yeah.
so they're learning to accept this kind of new version of me, but they don't have a choice really. They can accept it or not. It doesn't, I have healed to the point where I don't need their validation.
Yeah,
Right. So that's the
exactly.
whole point is being able to be with the people that you love and still being able to be yourself and realizing that it was never them keeping you small, right? We allow these things. And so as we come into the lion's gate and then come and I feel like I almost said get spit out the other side, right? As we go into the lion and the lion roars us out into this new paradigm, it's like I kind of feel like, and we always say too, the sky's not the limit, your imagination is. Your expanded consciousness is, and there's no limit there.
That's right.
So
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, should we wrap it up there? That felt like such a good wrap up. I'm
I
like, I
think
don't
that
have anything
sounds
to add.
good.
That was amazing,
Yeah.
Wendy.
I think
Yeah.
we hit it.
I think so. I think that, yeah,
I'm
hopefully that
excited.
helps you all to kind of have an idea of what to expect for the Lionsgate and what you can start to
It's
get
going to be
excited for. Start
beautiful.
allowing yourself to, I think if I want to add something, it would be allow yourself to marinate on what those legacy pieces are, because I bet if you allowed yourself to slow down long enough, they're just right there under the surface, ready to come forward, especially if you resonate with the journey since 2017 being a big opening for
Yes.
you. There's a lot of clients that I've talked to lately that are talking about 2017 being big and now they're birthing their legacy pieces. So there's something about that time portal
Yeah.
that was enough time to marinate these super
And there
important.
is that kind of 7, 8 year cycle too, right? Like we have
Mhm.
this smaller cycle that comes back around and then
Yeah.
you either produce something or you let it go for somebody else. And if that legacy piece is calling you to walk away from a big part of who you used to be,
Yeah.
the Lionsgate is going to, I don't want to say push you, but it's going to provide that container. It's going to
Yep.
provide the energy for that to happen. So, and
Yep.
we got you. Angie and I got you, girl.
We got you, girl. We got you,
Yeah.
goddess.
Jump into the pool. We will catch you, even if you don't think you can swim.
Yeah. And we've got fun floaties and tubes and things.
We do. We have a party. We've got a pool party going on. So
Definitely a unicorn tube.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining
Thank
us
you.
on this amazing episode. I love this one, and I'm so excited for the next month because you and I are going to be talking about Lionsgate a lot. And then once it gets here, I mean, if you're already feeling it like us, really, really like grab it, right? Like embrace it and just really let it work for you, and help it bring through these things that help it help you write your story. And again, that don't take that literally necessarily. It doesn't have to be a book. If it's art, if it's even within your chosen career, if you just want to, do something more in that space, now's the time. It's going to be the energy is going to be ripe for it. So thank you so much for being here, and we hope you join us on the next episode, and we will see you soon. Bye, goddess.
Bye, goddess.